So I'm in a season of life right now where I'm doing a lot of networking. I'm interviewing candidates for the 2025 class of the Mastermind, which means that I'm at events a lot. And this week, I think I've heard more than once the following. Oh my God, I'm back from vacation. I'm so overwhelmed. Oh my God, I have the kids for the week. My husband's on a solo vacation. I'm overwhelmed. I have a new baby and I'm overwhelmed at work. All right, so for me to negotiate the overwhelm in my life, I rely on systems. I think it was James Clear who wrote Atomic Habits that says that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Systems are what help me to negotiate all of the overwhelm in my life. So here are 8 steps that you could use the next time that you feel the overwhelm is just about to eat you alive. Number 1, eliminate the distractions. If you have kids, could you get somebody to watch them for 2 to 4 hours so you can get a focused sprint? I love to turn my out of office message on and say, I am working on a deep project right now. I will be back online in 4 hours. Turn off your phone. Put it in the other room. Turn off all your notifications. The point is that if you do a 2 to 4 hour focused sprint of work, it's going to be way more effective than an 8-hour day of maybe semi-focused work. Number 2, do one thing at a time. Multitasking, folks, is an actual myth. Your brain actually can really only do one thing well, one at a time. So the other thing about your brain is that it loves threes. So I like to have one must-have, one nice to have, one personal item. I did this while I was in France because I was like, what is the point of being in a whole nother country if I'm not even going to see France? So I was really great at making 3 priorities, really putting some bumper guards around those 3 things, and then going and doing something else. Number 3, take 20 minutes of quiet time. I read this book by Trevor Blake, who has founded and sold 2 $100 million biopharma companies. And he wrote the book 3 Simple Steps. And he calls them 3 simple steps because they're actually really that simple. His first non-negotiable thing that he does every day is take 20 minutes of quiet time. Why is this important? In 20 minutes, your brain creates new neurons. Those new neurons actually have no memory of what has happened to you before. So imagine the compounding of that effect that has if you do that day after day after day. You are coming to any problem. You are coming to any major decision with a fresh arsenal of decision-making power that has no memory of what's happened to you before. Imagine the power of that. So take 20 minutes of quiet time, breathe, stillness is your superpower. Number 4, dump everything out on paper. I do this every Sunday. I think your brain is a terrible container for you to be holding everything that's on your to-do list. I actually write it all out on an 11 by 17 sketch pad because there's tons of room for me to just scribble everywhere. But write it all down, and then I learned this from another woman leader a few years ago. Rather than hoard everything and say, oh my God, how am I going to do all of this? Put a name next to every single item on your to-do list of the best person, best suited to do that task. Learn to delegate. Don't hoard. Number 5, be present. The present is possibly the most powerful moment for you to be creative. If you are worrying about the past, if you are worrying about the future, guess where you're not? The present. Again, a focused sprint where you are 100% present is going to be worth so much more than 8 hours of you scrolling on Instagram and talking to your friend and being on Slack. It's so important to just be present for the thing that you need to get done. Remember, you only have 3 to begin with. Number 6, take breaks. Hey, listen, I am so guilty of being very bad at this, but I have to wrench myself away from the desk and go take a walk around the block. The other day, I actually sat in the sun for 15 minutes and it was like someone plugged me into a light socket and I was recharged. And sometimes during those 15 minutes, I love to read a letter that I wrote to myself while I was away. And in that letter, I wrote and captured a moment of how I was feeling. The feeling is really what's important. And so if I'm rereading that while I'm sitting in the sun, I'm revisiting that feeling rather than being all depressed because I'm not in France anymore. So make sure you take those breaks. Go for a coffee, call a friend, walk around the block, do whatever, but take breaks. Actually, when you come back to your desk, you're going to find that productivity is way more amped up. Number 7, this is an obvious one, but exercise. Exercise and get your heart rate up. I actually have a jump rope that I keep nearby that I can do for 10 minutes anywhere I am from my old boxing days, because getting that heart rate back up just gets that blood flowing, right? So you have the ability to cut through the overwhelm, cut through everything that's bothering you, and just get to the thing, because you've got a whole fresh arsenal of blood that's now running through you. And because you took 20 minutes of quiet time, now you have a fresh arsenal of neurons that are attacking the thing that you got to do. You're never going to go wrong by exercising, especially when you feel stuck. Number 8, and I bet this is not one that you think about, but you're probably eating really badly when you're away on vacation. Number 8 is to watch your food intake. I actually start to program into my Instacart, which is a grocery delivery service, online what I want to have ordered and have it delivered the day that I'm back from vacation, because the worst thing that you can do is to keep eating badly because you've already been doing that the entire time you were on vacation. But here's the other thing. I really think that food is medicine. And what you are putting in your body is definitely impacting your mind. It's impacting your productivity. Think about carbs. Like carbs, when you eat them, just raise your serotonin level. What does that make you want to do? Kind of just makes you want to sleep. So if you can keep nuts by you, high in fat, or proteins by you, string cheese, those foods are going to really amp up your productivity when you're trying to cut through the overwhelm. Hey, I am enrolling right now for the 2025 mastermind that I have. Of course, it culminates in a TED-style talk on stage, but there is so much holistically, stuff like this that I'm also teaching you in that year-long program. If you would love to enroll, there is a waitlist forming right here at joyadas.bio. You can fill that out. If you really want to have fun, you can play this video game that Miriam Nusrat and I developed, where you get to actually hit a score, and then you get 5% off. So play the video game. Think outside the box. But more than anything, I hope that you cut through the overwhelm.